Hey guys, Vrybot here. Just want to welcome you back to Elevating Your Game with 303 Tactical Chess Puzzles, the video series. Well, I'm also inviting you once again to check out vrybot.com. That's VRYBOT.com. The reason I'm letting you know about the website is mainly so you are aware that I'm providing a chess coaching service to anyone who's watching this video series or just chess students in general. You can get a description here by clicking on chess coaching, or you can hire me right away. Then I suggest going over to the community tab and signing up with Discord, connecting with me there, or just sending your message here. We can get connected so that you can send your concerns, questions, comments, and any scheduling for the chess coaching service. And you can connect with me a multitude of different ways in the bio or YouTube. So let me welcome everybody back. We are jumping right into a brand new puzzle, brand new day. And we're going to continue with our method of solving puzzles. We're going to know what the material balance is. And then we're going to check for aggressive moves like checks, captures, and threats. So we can do that starting with this puzzle right here. We take a look. White has actually got like 1,000 pawns. Whoa, and I'm gonna have to flip the board because it looks like it is actually black to move here. Let's make sure we run through our method first. So we have 2 pawns. White has 5. That's a lot. We've got 3 minor pieces. White has 3 minor pieces. Both sides have the queen. Now black's king looks relatively safe. White's king looks a little less safe. Let's look for checks and captures. I see a check here. No other checks. As for captures, I see a capture here. No. Well, if we put together the check and the capture that we spotted right away, we actually can solve the puzzle. With bishop takes, this is actually removing the defender of the g3 square. This bishop has got this king hemmed in so bad in the corner that he can't get out. And all we need to do is make sure that the knight isn't alive to capture us here on g3. After queen takes or whatever white decides to play, even on queen to e1, we will win the game by smothering the king in the corner. And we have then another black to play. Counting the material, we've got 2, 4, 5. They've got 2, 4, 5. We've got 3 minors and 2 heavy pieces. Same for white. Let's look for checks and captures. So here we have a check. Here we have a check. We have a check over here. As for captures, we have a capture here. We don't even need to get into the threats. Again, for this puzzle, all we need to do is put together what we see so far. We need to put it in the right order. If we capture on e3, which is one of our observations, very logical is to recapture, but then you'll notice that we have removed the defender of the d4 square and the knight falls. So we're getting 2 pieces, they're getting 1. Not a bad trade for us. And then in flipping through the pages, we stumble across this puzzle. I love this type of stuff. When learning some of your basic checkmates, you're going to find that the knight and the rook coordinate together very well, especially in the corners, sides of boards, some middle, but often on the sides and definitely in the corners. There's a quick old story that when chess was first invented, pawns used to move 1 at a time. Queens used to move just 1 square at a time like a king. And then they gave the queen this amazing power of flying across the chessboard. That particular version of chess, that would have made the rooks extremely strong and the knights just as crazy as they are now. Together, we know that the knight and the queen is a nasty combo, the nastiest in chess, because the knight complements everything that the queen can't do, and the queen does everything that the knight can't do. They work together very well. So in these old days, the rook and the knight were the most powerful pieces. We're going to find that here in this position. First, we got to count the material. Looks like we have 4 pawns. Looks like black has 5. And aside from that, the minor pieces and the major pieces are balanced. So black is up a pawn, but white is going to be looking for their checks and captures and threats. There's a check here. There's a check here. And there's a check here. Let's just calculate only 2 moves on rook g6 and see what happens. King can't pop out. Pawn has to take. So far as I can see, it's the only move on the chessboard. Once we play knight to g4, well, guess what? When the pawn stepped out of the way, that kind of discovered the rook all along the 7th rank. That makes this knight check deadly. Puzzle solved. Boy, they're really giving us the easy stuff today. Probably by the time I'm done counting material and asking you to do the method, you might have already solved this puzzle. Could be, who knows? All right, let's count the material. So white has 2 pawns, black has 2 pawns. We have a minor piece, they have a minor piece. We have 2 rooks, black has 2 rooks as well. We might notice though that the pawn is blocking off a square from the king. We might notice there's no other checks for the knight, pawns, only the rook. So rook to h1 is one check we've got to take a look at. Let's go ahead and calculate this only to ply. Bishop takes, rook takes back. This pawn's control of the g5 square actually comes into play. We have a checkmate that's very similar to a back rank checkmate when the king is stuck behind his wall of pawns. Here, he's stuck behind a wall of squares. I was actually really glad to see this puzzle. This is really interesting to me for a couple of reasons. First, usually we don't play backwards moves, and when we do, they're hard to find. In chess, you'll usually find that we don't use so much energy to press forward, just to turn around and step back. Very interesting puzzle here. Let's go ahead and check the material. We've got 4 pawns, black has 3. We've got the minor piece, black has the bishop. We've got 2 rooks, so does black. So the material is pretty equal. White's up a pawn. White's up a pass pawn. Very nice. A protected pass pawn. Decent. There's a lot of good stuff going on for white. I think it's pretty obvious to see that we have a check. And this check, I want to play it really bad. But we're just going to make sure that our position is intact. Our knight is guarding this rook, so that's good. We could give this check. We absolutely could. And we're going to go ahead and start with that move because I'm aware that it's already the first move of solving the puzzle. King to h8 is the only move on the chessboard. If you've ever seen a step ladder checkmate or a rook roller checkmate, you might notice the pattern exists here. And all we got to do is step back to make it happen. If he comes forward, we're going to checkmate him anyways. Such an interesting chess move. With examining this chess puzzle in particular, I did want to use a computer. So I fired on the engine and I took a look at rook f5. And at first, what I thought was completely unstoppable actually has some ideas. Black can play rook to e7. We can play pawn to d6 trying to get that rook. He can go rook to d7, or in which case we can checkmate him a different way. So there's a few interesting things going on. What black should probably do is continue fighting, and then we're going to have to realize the win later down the road. Okay, let's do it again. We have only one pair of pawns have traded. White has the half-open C file. We have the half-open E file. So that means we've got 7 pawns. They've got 7 pawns. Let's take a look at the minor pieces. We've got 3. They've got 3. We've got the rooks and queens. They've got the rooks and queens. Let's start looking for those checks and captures. So as for checks to the white king, I don't see any. There are some captures. There's bishop takes, rook takes, there's pawn takes. So we do have a few captures. And then let's look at threats. Threats are pretty interesting in this puzzle because our captures are not that great. Often to take is a mistake. Why would I make a bunch of equal trades? What value does that hold for me? Well, that just sends me on a freight train right down to the end of the game. And if I haven't accumulated an advantage already, what am I rushing off to a liquidated position for? So while this game still offers us a lot of opportunity, let's find some good threats. Bishop to h4 seems to be our best threat. We can hit the rook, And the rook is a little bit shy for squares. But that's not really the point. The point is that the knight is also shy for squares. You may have noticed the knight has no retreat, no forward action without getting captured, and no backwards action because the queen is sitting in his way. So with f6, we actually trap the knight. Okay, let's keep grinding. I really like this position. Let's go ahead and count that material again. Well, it looks like white and black have traded pawns in the center, so we should be at 6 pawns each. We've got the 2 bishops, so does black. We've got the pair of rooks and a queen, so does black. Always observe for checks and captures. Do we have any checks? I don't see any checks. As for captures, we have this. That's terrible. We have this. That doesn't look so good either. So our checks and captures may not be the thing. But threats. We can always get creative with threats. And let's see if we can find something juicy here. Very interesting is to attack the queen. If the queen takes, the simplest variation is that we take here, and we're going to mate on the next move. So a little more in depth, we can try bishop takes b2. In that case, we get the queen. We can try saving the queen. In that case, we have a few options. We can capture a free bishop. We can push our pawn. We can do quite a bit here. So because of getting creative and finding brilliant moves, we're able to mop up this position real easy. Okay, so by the time I'm done finishing, you probably already solved this one too. You're like, Brybot, hey, why do I need to count the material? Well, we got to know what's going on. So black has, what, 2, 4, 6 pawns? That's quite a few. He's got a rook and a bishop. A rook and a bishop is almost comparable to the 2 rooks that white has. So black is up just tons of pawns. Don't worry. When we're looking for our checks, captures, and threats, we should be able to notice right away that with these checks here, one of those 2 is already winning the game. All we got to do is step out of the way of our rook, and hopefully you know the name of this tactic. Do you need me to tell you? Okay, it's called the discovery. It's also called the peekaboo. Peekaboo. You get a piece out of the way and unleash the attack from another. In this case, it's a very fine checkmate. Again, just like the stepladder checkmate that we were kind of mentioning earlier. Now, to end the day, we've been all over the place. We've been in the brilliant territory. We've been in the simple territory. And here, it can be a little bit confusing. Sometimes your brain is going, you're looking for all these patterns, but don't forget to do the work. Just count the material. It'll always help you out. Make sure you're looking for checks, captures, and threats. Even if your eye spotted something, at least just keep looking at the checks, captures, and threats so you're more aware of what information is there on the chessboard. This one turns out to be really simple, and it's only the gain of 1 pawn again, but it does matter, especially in the endgame. White has 4 pawns, black has 4 pawns. If it was a perfectly equal position, then the game would just putter out into a draw. But we're going to go ahead and nab and steal. All right, so we don't have any checks, but we do have captures. We're going to look at those real quick. If I could steal this pawn and get away with it, I would, but I can't. If I could steal this pawn and get away with it, I would, and I can. Because if the knight takes here, if knight takes knight, I've unleashed the power of my rook. So you can see that this knight was guarding this bishop just a moment ago, and if he's going to leave his outpost to go grab some material, he's going to lose this in the back. So it turns out that nabbing this pawn is completely free. Black can choose whatever he likes to do. He can ignore it. He can continue the game some other way. Just look ahead and make sure that some knight move isn't going to destroy you, or that you're not losing because you nabbed a pawn. At least blunder check your position. But fantastic for us today. We've done another great series set of puzzles, and I'll see you next time. Okay guys, just before you go, don't forget to check the bio. Visit brybot.com. Please support our channel. We could really use it. If you want to connect with me as an international chess expert and an advanced certified chess coach, make sure you drop a line on Discord. Become part of the community there. Again, you're going to have the opportunity to subscribe, so don't forget to like, share the video, and also comment or criticize down below. So take a look for the Vrybot cartoon that should be on your screen. Go ahead and move over to another chess video of past and previous, or jump into our playlist right here and pick what you'd like to watch next.